Hello, everyone. Are we live? Yes, I think we are. This is the Notion UK meetup, New Year's resolutions and Notion. My name is Yao. I'm the founder of the Notion UK meetup, and I'm a Notion ambassador and creator of the Life Planning and Getting Things Done with Notion course. And I have some very special guests today. Firstly, Frances Matthews. She's a founder of Notion Bar, a beloved Notion ambassador who I think most probably is a person who makes one of the most visually appealing Notion templates I've come across. So I think we're in for a real treat in a bit. And also, we have a very well-known Notion ambassador and community member with us, productivity enthusiast, and now a YouTube star, Danny Hatcher, who helps content creators and entrepreneurs obviously get organized and intentional. And we're also going to be joined a bit later by Marlene, an acquaintance of mine, who's a personal transformation coach. Because as this is all about New Year's resolutions, we want to sort of talk about, she specializes in things such as breaking patterns to develop new behavior. So this is the first time Notion UK are streaming on YouTube, but if you have any questions, if there's anyone out there, feel free to do comments and feel free to leave them in a live stream channel. And if we see them, we'll try and get to them as well. So
yeah, do you know if this is going to be on the replay? Maxie's just asked in chat.
The replay,
is it going to be available on YouTube replay?
Yeah, I assume so. We are not going to be deleting this live stream. This link should stay on. Hey, we've got quite a few. We've got quite a few comments. That's really nice to hear. Nice to hear that sort of both Notion and topic are sort of gaining popularity. Okay. So Notion and New Year's resolutions. So what we're going to do is I will give a quick 2-minute overview for those who are not familiar with Notion, just sort of an introduction. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at different ways we can use it to help with New Year's resolutions and goals, hearing from different perspectives. So from myself, Frances, and Danny. But before we start, perhaps Frances and Danny, each of you could perhaps share one New Year's resolutions that you might want to, that you're happy to share with the audience and the world. Danny?
Yeah, I don't mind going first. It's good to see you, Esme. I recognize Esme in the chat. So in 2020 anyway, I wanted to double down into YouTube and actually focus on YouTube, having done my graduate. So I graduated now. And 2021, I want to focus on streaming because I found streaming fun, which I didn't think I was going to do. I'm a very, very nervous person, but I found streaming fun. So what I want to do in 2021 is stream some more so I can talk more because I love talking anyway. I love the sound of my own voice sometimes. It's not always a great thing, but yeah, so in 2021, I want to try and double down on streaming about Notion and other applications that are similar, because even though Notion is amazing, there are other apps out there.
Great. That's great to hear. And that's really good news for everyone. I think, because of all the stuff that you put out. But even this year, you've put out sort of quite a few streams as well. So, your work rate is phenomenal and you've achieved so much already. Only just have graduated as well. So really, really props with you. And it seems like you've had a great year, Danny, despite the circumstances.
Work with what you can control.
Yeah, good. Frances, how about you?
For me, I honestly just want to lean into my creativity more and see where it takes me. Like, I really want to just do things properly. So this past year, I've been kind of like winging a lot of my content for the Notion Bar, just like putting my feelers out there, seeing what people respond to, learning a lot about what other makers are doing. And so I think for this year, I'm definitely about to get like really organized, probably going to have like a newsletter at some point, do like really cool like fun YouTube videos and create more fun content. So I'm just gonna like lean into my creativity more for 2021.
Wow, another productivity person.
Oh, no.
Not productive, but it sounds like you're going to be very productive. And
yeah, but just have fun with it, right? Just like, I think for Notion, I think specifically with Notion, people just like think of it as like this productivity thing where it's just it's digital paper and Lego blocks. Like you can really make anything you want with it, essentially. Yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, we're in for a treat later when we're going to see some of your creative stuff. But yeah, if for the benefit of those that don't know Notion, I'll just go through sort of a quick overview, and then I'll just sort of share how I use it, because how I use it is very focused on sort of personal goals, personal development as well. And later, actually, we will hopefully be joined by Marlene, who will be talking a little bit more about things we can sort of consider when we think about New Year's resolutions. So let me try and share my screen. I haven't worked it out how to do this yet. Just bear with me. Here we go. There we go.
Nice.
Yes. So this is the Notion website. Okay. And so what it is, it's a productivity application for those who don't know about it. And what you can do is you can create workspaces which you can use for writing, organizing, or collaboration. So the website is notion.so. It's free to sign up. There's paid plans. If you need sort of more features such as team collaboration, you can see you can use it on your mobile or tablet. And I came across it after wanting to find a new task manager. Actually, I've used things such as Outlook, Trello, Remember the Milk. Nothing sort of quite worked for me. But after seeing what it could do, I was so impressed with it that I decided to create an online course on it, became a Notion ambassador. And the reason why it's a key strength is you're really able to personalize the application to work for you, how you would want it and how feature rich the application is. So there are organizations of different sizes and sectors using it, particularly for team collaboration, but it's also very popular with individuals using it to organize all aspects of their life, especially with goal setting and task management, in my opinion. So I wanted to share how I use Notion as an all-in-one project manager, personal development tool, and knowledge management for productivity. So here is sort of what I call my life homepage. But what I've done is I have created a copy of my personal setup, and I've applied a Christmas theme. So this is Santa's homepage. So you can see that this is a central place for Santa to access all things that he needs to do, all his notes, his lists. And in Notion, we create pages, and all these pages are made out of content blocks. So you can see here, there are links to other pages, but you can also do things such as write text, embed media. So here I have my Christmas playlist. You could do maps as well, tables, which are sort of like databases. And you can basically create pages within pages and structure the information how you want. Everything is as well sort of drag and dropped. And you can sort of get sort of very creative within the pages. And this setup is actually a bit inspired by the productivity methodology, getting things done. It suggests that you should have a process to capture, clarify, organize, review, and engage sort of any sort of thoughts you have, tasks, and all the information you have to deal with. And it also talks about horizons of focus. which means you have to think both about what you're trying to achieve on the short term and the long term, and see how they sort of link up. Because what you're sort of meant to be doing sort of day to day should relate to your longer term goals. So you can see these links on the left: tasks, events, habits, projects, personal goals, and life areas. And we'll sort of explore some of these. And if I sort of scroll down, you'll see some tables here. And these tables are all actually views of what we call a sort of a master database. So this master database is my inbox, but I bring in sort of specific information that I want through a filter. So here in this filter, I'm looking for any pages where the date is on or before today and has not been ticked. And in essence, this is like Santa's task manager. So if I've brought my Christmas cards, I can tick that and it disappears. And it will only show tasks that are currently due. So actually, if I decide that I don't want to do my cleaning up today, I want to do it in a week's time, that's going to disappear on the list as well. And in a week's time, that will appear in my due tasks. Okay, so with regards to the new year, it's a great opportunity to review the previous year and plans for the next. So in Santa's homepage, there's a link called Life Areas, and you can look at sort of perhaps exploring how you've gone and what you want to do and what you want to how it's gone for the year for all your sort of different life areas. So here we've got some sort of quite generic life areas that might sort of appeal, might be relevant for everyone. And it could be a time where you want to think about which areas you want to focus on in particular this year, or things such as where you might potentially want to look at having a little bit more life balance by making sure all of these areas are areas that you are addressing. So we have some generic life areas, but you can add sort of your own. So here Santa has elf management. And what this is, again, it's my inbox database gallery view of which you have, and you can see it's I've brought some images in to make it look nice as well. If I go into careers and business, you can use a page to outline, what your vision is for that particular life area. And what I've done here is also I've got an area for related pages. So if I decide actually there's a few projects that are relevant to this life area. So for Santa and his careers and business, he's got an elf recruitment project, a Christmas Run 2020 project, and you can relate pages to each other. So in a database, if I sort of look at Christmas Run 2020, this is a project page. And here we have all the tasks for Christmas Run. We can see we've ticked off 2 earlier. And then we also have sort of related content. For example, here we have, this isn't a task, it's a video, but it's related to the Christmas Run 2020 because he wants some songs while he's obviously delivering all his presents in his sleigh. So yeah, the idea is that how I've created this is that there is one database called My Inbox, which actually stores quite a lot of things, such as a task, but all of these sort of different information types as well. And the reason that I do that is so that I can sort of really easily capture the information and relate pages to each other through tags. So here you can see the Buy Christmas Cards is related to the Christmas Run 2020 tag. And that's how it shows within this particular table here. And so what we have here is we've got the opportunity to show this information in different views as well. So this is a table view, but we could also change the view to a board view, or in this case, a timeline view. If we make this bigger, this is one of the new features that Notion has released. in which we have kind of a Gantt chart in which we can move the dates and update the statuses. So I think this is a really sort of cool feature that they've sort of released recently. So, and also one of the new things I've sort of added in my setup is a really sort of quick way to add any thought or task. I've added this add to inbox in my setup, where if I click new, I quickly actually say get to Santa a present, and when I add it there, it really quickly it will actually appear in my due tasks. So that hasn't appeared. I think it's because I didn't set a date to it. If I go to tasks, I have my due tasks here, but I also have my upcoming tasks in a separate table. So hopefully what you can see is, yeah, you can really, really go to town with having the pages exactly how you want them. Also, I find having one database is quite good for using the web clipper. So, for example, if I was looking for a roast turkey recipe, and I'll just pick this one with the Notion web clipper, I can take all this information by using the Notion web clipper here in the Chrome task file once it loads. Let's try that again. I'm going to refresh. There we go. And automatically add it to my inbox. And when I open it in Notion, I can tag that as a note and also tag that under something like Christmas dinner. All the information has come through. We've got the website as well, if we want us to go to that. And therefore, in the Christmas dinner project, we're going to see that as a note. So I think really sort of the power of Notion is that you can really link your tasks to more longer term goals and projects. And so I think it's a really good sort of tool to really sort of review a goal, a project, or a longer term life area. And see everything you have to do, plan everything you have to do. So since I discovered Notion, it's been sort of a really sort of valuable tool for me. So to conclude, I'm giving this template away as a Christmas present for all those who are watching this live. So you can get the standard template and the course I've created on Notion, which is usually sort of £5 for my website, but I'm offering it for free. And from now until Boxing Day. You can get it on my website, gettrailblazing.com. I think I got a banner here, which I will show you. That's my website. And hope you found that interesting and open to answering any questions.
I guess for the first thing that springs to mind when it comes, because obviously you've mentioned reviewing, Francis, it'd be interesting to see do you do any sort of review inside of Notion, or do you do that on paper?
Wait, was that a question to me or to Yao?
yeah, yeah, Francis.
So right now, the only things that I'm reviewing in Notion, which I'll show you in a second, in my journal, are my mood and my sleep and just like other experiences that I've had. I haven't really been doing any kind of like productivity reviews just yet. I will next year, just it hasn't happened yet for me. I actually have a question for Yao. In your template, something that I really liked was when you have that kind of blank add to task table. Is that just filtered by like title is empty, or like how did you do that? With the my inbox bit?
Yeah, I think it has been a frustration of mine, and I've seen other people frustrated, right? That you can quickly add a page here under new page, but it's hard to add sort of a new database page. And I wanted a really sort of quick way to add it on my homepage. So you can see that this is just a gallery view of the main master database, and the filter is type equals task and name equals empty.
Oh,
The
excellent.
reason why type equals task is because so that whatever I'll add, I will be able to deal with it later. Whether I'm going to be changing it into a note or a video, whatever sort of that information is, but it does allow me to, you know, really sort of quickly capture anything, and then that will go to my task list somewhere, and will pop up, and then you know, I can sort of tag that later.
Cool.
I mean, there is this new page thing as well, which is quite sort of useful on a mobile. And I found that when I use the new page, I am now actually defaulting to my inbox as well. So I can see that. And not only that, obviously, another thing I didn't cover is I use heavily database templates. So if I've got a new project, I click on new project, and suddenly then you'll get it tagged as the type project. But then we have a structure in which we can organize projects, which is having the tasks, related pages on this page, project summary, and a sort of content page as well, which sort of scrolls down if I've got sort of a large project page.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And something as well to flag specifically in your setup is that you have all your tasks and your projects in the same database, your inbox database. And I think it's something that people don't realize a lot. Like if you want, I guess I use as my baseline, if you want everything to appear on the same calendar, it has to be in the same database. Yeah. And then you have to filter by the different types of tasks. Or is it a task, is it a project, or is it I don't know, an idea? And a lot of people don't realize that, and they get themselves confused and like, well, I have a task database and I have a project database, but how do I put them into the same like calendar? And so, yeah, I think that's a really important thing to highlight with your setup as well.
I mean, for some people, it works better to have separate databases. I mean, I've seen videos, for example, people like sort of August who have sort of several databases, and actually, I think that's slightly more viable now. Because now we have this functionality of hiding properties, and every time sort of we add a new database relation, it sort of creates a new property, but now you can hide them. So that's one reason why you might want to actually go for separate databases now. And if you've got specific, very sort of different information, so I wouldn't say you have to put everything in the same database, but I find that I'm putting most things in one database, and that sort of works well for me with regards to things such as, you know, the web clipper and bringing out certain things and relating things through tags. Danny, do you have any sort of opinion on that, on sort of the number of databases you're using to in your setup?
I mean, I've got a couple of things to sort of say, sort of leading on from what Francis said. It's something I sort of have the conversation quite a lot, is a calendar is a database. It's not a separate thing. It is a database, so a table, a calendar, they are just a database. So yeah, it's very, very common to see that, oh, can I put these things together? And you can put multiple databases in one calendar view, but it's a bit of a workaround to do that, because you're going to use relations, roll-ups, and formulas, which you really don't want to use most of the time. So it's one of those things you can, but should you? I mean, most people won't really need it, to be honest. When it comes to the amount of databases used, it's very similar with my approach to YouTube videos and how long they need to be. Have as many databases as you need, no more, no less. So some people need to have loads of databases because they have, it's the way that their brain works. And then when they figure out, actually, I could combine these things together, then reduce the amount of databases. Because if you start with 3 and you say, I'm only going to use 3 databases or 5 databases, you then have loads and loads of properties, and I found that when people start using Notion, if they have minimal databases, they try and put everything in one database, and then they get confused as to what goes where, what filter goes to where. So start with what's comfortable for you, and then figure it out from there. And use inspiration from people like August, Marie, myself, Francis, obviously yourself as well. Use inspiration and work out what may work for you. But at the end of the day, we all work differently. Some of us want loads of databases. Some of us don't want any. Some want loads of properties and formulas. Some don't want any. So yeah, personal preference is definitely key, especially with Notion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, wonder how this will look. I'm sure this will look very different. Santa's homepage in a year's time. So, well, that's all I've got. How about we move to our star guest, Francis, who's never been sort of on this meetup. Really sort of excited about this. So I understand you've done a sort of lot of things this year, haven't you? The Happiness Bar and sort of your gratitude journal projects. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and it's going to be focused and over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, Danny is also equally as much of a star of a guest as I am in this instance, not just to be equal. But I am going to figure out how to share my screen. Okay, so yes, 2 monitors. I've got that down.
Once you're sharing screen, Hao needs to actually put it onto screen.
Oh, okay,
yes.
got it.
So I've got your screen here. And now we'll put you on here, and let me just change the banner as well to your website.
Awesome, thank you. Right. Yeah, I'm here to talk about journaling and the journal project that I've made for, well, starting now, but the fun really kicks in 2021, which I'll show you in a second. And so I created the Happiness Bar because I was looking for an easy way to journal just in general. And what I didn't like about all of kind of like the fancy journals out there is that you got this book and then you got the prompts, but you couldn't customize it to yourself. Whereas with the beauty of Notion, I've built a foundation of a journal, but essentially everyone who's purchased it and will purchase it in the future can customize it to any way that they want. So a lot of people are changing the colors, they're changing the prompts, they're changing the layout, the images, the icons, everything. But I guess the UX or the functionality of the journal is remaining the same. And so I'll give you just like a mini tour of my journal. This is my actual journal. You can download it at thehappinessbar.com. For the purpose of this video, it will be 20% off as my present to you. It's really not expensive either way. I think it's like 15 pounds at the moment. Although that is the early bird price and there are only a few spots left. So the price goes up to £20 if you don't get it now, basically. But for now, it's 20% off, really affordable. I didn't want to make it too expensive. Anyways, you've got
You need a countdown timer.
Yeah. But anyways, just to give you a tour, I've got just a nice kind of message here. I'm going to walk through this visualization worksheet, which isn't mine, actually. It's Vency's, who's in the chat. She just created it today, and it's really, really cool. And I just wanted to show it off. Everyone should go download it. But for the purpose of my journal, you've got this kind of like blank space area for just word vomiting. Like sometimes you just have thoughts and you want to get them out of your head. So I have this blank space area here. And then going back, I also have this manifestation list. And so this is all in a toggle because I love toggles. But these are just so that you have them front and center. So every time you use this journal, I tend to keep this open, but I just closed it for the grand reveal in this instance. But these are just some of the things that I'm manifesting for the year ahead. So being more grateful, letting go of things that no longer serve me, because sometimes you just need to let some things go. I've definitely realized that about myself this year. And I'll also add what I talked about in the beginning of this video, dig into my creativity more and take risks. Yeah, so I always have this open, and I guess at the end of the year or as the year goes along, I can tick these off as I go. I don't really like to over-engineer my spaces just because I tried doing that when I first got into the whole Notion creation space and like percentage complete and all of that stuff, and it just doesn't work for my brain specifically. It does for a lot of people, just not for me. So I tend to stick with tick boxes a lot of the times because it's easier. So I have this manifestation list. And then as I scroll down, I have quite a few things actually. So I have the happiness station here, where I just put things that inspire me or put me in a good mood. So things that serve my mind, my body, my soul. And this is really for if I'm just having a bit of a down day, then I can just open this up and like look at things that inspire me and like do one of them, I guess. And I've also embedded this Spotify playlist as well, which any woman in this chat should follow. It's really good. Not tooting my own trumpet, but it's a really good playlist. So I have this happiness station, and then I have this memory box, which is actually my favorite part of this journal, to be honest. I'm actually going to start doing like monthly videos based on like what's in my memory box for the past month, just really cool things that I've done. So like recounting a lot of my big wins, and I'll show you how this works essentially. But these are all linked to actual journal entries. So just, whoa, yeah, some big wins that have happened in the past month or so, which is really cool. Like a lot of them are related to building the happiness bar. It's been really great growing the community. We actually have a Facebook group where everyone's kind of sharing how they're using the journal and just cool ways of decorating it and just celebrating each other's successes. It's been a lot of fun. But these are also some things that I've watched since I started journaling. Queen's Gambit, obviously, just because like everyone's been watching that. The Grinch.
Yeah, 5-star that one.
Yeah. The Grinch, just because I watched that the other day. The animated version, though, I give it a 4-star. An easy watch. But yeah, just a place to capture all of your memories, essentially, which I didn't realize. But whenever someone's like, hey, what did you do that's been really cool lately? Or like, what's a film that you've watched recently? I don't know about you, but my mind always seems to go blank and you just forget everything. And so with Notion, I've engineered it so in this memory box, you don't forget anything, which is really lovely. And you can always go back to this and like relive old journal entries if you want to. I'm not going to click into any of them, obviously, because that's like that's like sharing my diary on the internet. But yeah. So down here, you have the main journal. You can kind of see my mood over the past month or so. I had a bit of a burnout week, which was just a bit rubbish, to be honest. So you can kind of see my fluctuating mood there, like week commencing December 7th. But it's been really cool to just mindfully track how I'm doing. And there is a strong correlation between weeks where I've had lots of big wins and weeks where I've just been like really productive or really content. And then also I really want to do a correlation between at some point between the mood tags and also the amount of sleep that I've been getting. So that's something that I've also been tracking in this journal. So you can track sleep at a week, month, and quarter level. So far, this is how I've been doing. I should probably sleep more, but I don't know. I'm a weird combination of an early riser and a late sleeper. And so that's just where we are at the moment. I should probably fix that. I will. But it's been really interesting to track my sleep over time. I get roughly like 40, 45-ish hours of sleep per week. Oh, I just cut out there. Am I back? I'm back.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So yeah, 40, 45 hours of sleep. And then this is essentially all one big database. I can show you the back end of it, which is interesting. As a user, you would literally never need to touch this ever. It was mainly just for my purposes creating it. But same as you, yeah, I have everything on one database for the purpose of showing everything on a calendar. And so, yeah, I've tagged things by different properties. If it's a quarter, a month, a week, a day, is a self-care tip. And so you've got these all kind of noted there in the properties. And then over here you have relation properties within the database itself in order to track things like sleep. So the weeks that attach onto the days, the months that attach onto the days, the hours of sleep. And so you can kind of see how that's all working here. And then I also have the separate databases for the memory box. So the adventures, the big wins, the books that I've read, films, etc. And so that's all managed through here. But if you go back to the journal entries, I'll show you the day view. I also use database templates like you. So the cool thing about this journal is that I've already pre-populated the prompts, but you can go in and edit these with questions which are more tailored to you. I have AM and PM prompts already set up, but you can go in and change these to whatever you want. So yeah, these are all very based on affirmations, manifestations, and what you're grateful for, just to be more intentional when you wake up and you go to sleep. And this actually doesn't take very long to do at all. My bare minimum, if I'm not gonna do a full session of answering all of the questions, is that every morning I will record how many hours of sleep that I had, and in the evening I will record what my mood is. And you can add more adjectives to this as well if you so wish. Up to you. These are just ones to get you started. For my really bad days, I actually just added the just now tag because everyone has those days. Yeah, you can really customize these as much as you want. And so you have questions and you have actions at the end of each one, which is really cool. So yeah, don't forget to record anything new in your memory box below. And these use self-referencing filters. So if people don't know what self-referencing filters are, it's so that you can essentially filter any new entries in your big wins database, in your films and TV database by the name of whatever your new post is going to be, so that it all just kind of syncs up automatically. So you can see that I filtered this by where journal contains new day, which is the title of this template. And so that way, if I create a new journal entry, let's say tomorrow, it's just going to populate it all here, and that anything that I add in my memory box is automatically going to be linked to this specific journal entry, essentially. Notion magic. I think self-referencing filters deserve more props than they get, to be honest, just because they're really cool. And of course, this is a journal, so blank space just to moan about your day or just write whatever comes to you at the time. I like using this space. I don't use it every day, as I find that the quick fire prompts are actually quite enough to get what I need from myself that day kind of like out of my brain, essentially. But every now and again, if something really special happens that day, I do like to write in the blank space section, which is really cool. And so I have day templates, and I also have week templates. I'll show you what that looks like quickly. Week templates, month templates, and quarter templates. These are a little bit more simplified. And I'll just click into a random week. My intention is that eventually I will fill these out for myself, but I'm in a bit of a personal reset at the moment when I am trying to form or decide which habits that I want to stick to. But I've essentially put habit trackers into each of these. And so in that database template editing section, you can edit the habits that you want to populate each week, each month, etc. And you can just kind of go through these as time goes on. But honestly, the other favorite part of this whole template for me, it kicks in on January 1st, and I'm really, really excited about it, is that the Notion Bar community from Twitter has so lovingly submitted self-care tips, which are littered throughout the year. So it's a bit like an ongoing calendar. So this is January 1st, submitted by Teresa, another Notion ambassador. She's great. Everyone go follow her. So this is a self-care tip submitted by Teresa. Danny, did you submit one? I can't remember. You may have not.
I don't think so. I think it was one of those things that I was like, I can do that, and then I couldn't really think of something. So
fair enough. But yeah, they are just kind of littered through everywhere at the moment, which is really cool. So yeah, this is at OMG this book. You've got people in here like kind of your Notion faves, like Marie, Alex and Oceaneer, the Indify guys are in here. I wouldn't even know where to begin to find them. There are so many. Right now, there's enough for the beginning of every week and every quarter, and then some in between. If you do want to feature in this, feel free to @ me at the Notion Bar. But yeah, this is just where it's at the moment. I'm really excited to read through all of these tips and to quickly go through Bentsy's template that she kind of made today, which is really cool, and I'm excited to fill out later. You can find her at Bentsy Krishna on Twitter. She's created this kind of like mini visualization worksheet where you essentially just visualize what you want your 2021 to look like, and I'm really excited to go through this later on, in line with kind of figuring out what habits I want to implement in those weekly templates, monthly templates, etc. So yeah, thanks Fancy for creating this, and I hope it does well. You can probably contact her for the link. It's there. Yeah, that is how I'm going to be more mindful and intentional and grateful in 2021. Feel free to ask me any questions.
Wow, that is a lot of work. That was a really, really amazing presentation. Thank you, Francis. Wow. I was wondering, because you've done so much work on it. Did you use anything else before for journaling? Because there's so much there. And how did you live without this before?
So I'd always liked the idea of journaling, but I think what did put me off from actually doing it was the fact that everything out there was so rigid, and I kind of had to play by whoever's rules who had set it up, which is why I did want to make a more flexible option. It started as a project just for me, and then I thought, other people could probably use this as well. And it's been really encouraging to see the kind of support that it's been getting, and people actually downloading it and using it and sharing it with me. So yeah.
What I really liked about it is that you've sort of involved the community. And yeah, just wondering if any of you actually, Danny, as well, whether you've seen any other examples where you've seen Notion templates or Notion websites even that have done well with engaging sort of a community to be involved with creating that content. Because I think this is sort of one of the best examples I've seen.
There are definitely lots of different communities inside of Notion. So obviously you've got the designer community, mindfulness community, creator community. So that depending on the templates, depending on what community it'll target. And obviously Francis has targeted I guess journaling community. Is that I know journaling's a thing, but was that the focus? Was that the target, or was it?
Yeah, it's weird because the journaling community is kind of like everyone, so but yeah, I guess the journaling community, or people who are just generally interested in wellness, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because there's loads of templates out there that do well in certain groups of people.
Yeah. Something cool that just happened is Camille put together the Notion Advent calendar, where a bunch of the ambassadors all kind of submitted sort of freebies to it, and people downloading them each day and opening and have different templates behind each door. That's one I can think of off the top of my head. There are probably others. I'm finding there are so many other Notion templates out there in the Twitterverse, the Redditverse, and you can't catch them all. Yeah, I'm
you miss Discord.
To collect templates
yeah. I thought you could at the beginning of it, but then it's sort of kind of started exploding suddenly, hasn't it, in the last few months?
Yeah. Someone made a really cool lost template. Alex from Notioneer tweeted it the other day. It was really cool. It linked episodes and timelines and locations and characters into this whole thing. Really impressive. Yeah, just so many cool templates out there, to be honest.
I mean, YouTube in itself, obviously, loads of creators have gone onto YouTube and started sharing their templates, and there are multiple gaming templates of different games, people tracking different things in the games, and then there's loads of other templates in actual business, and then the tarot card templates. There's so many templates out there there's almost a template for everything. It's just a case of finding it, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Francis, thank you so much for that. That was wonderful, actually. and yeah, thanks for introducing Esme as well. That visualization worksheet in particular looks a really good thing for sort of thinking about the new year and habits to do. But let's. I've also invited a friend of mine, Marlene, because I believe she's actually not a Notion user yet. But since this is all about New Year's resolutions, I thought interesting to hear her sort of views and also maybe some sort of insights on sort of generally how we can keep our New Year's resolutions. As you know, New Year's resolutions, it's definitely not all about the technology. Eh? So Marlene, let's see if we got your sound good. We can hear you okay. How about you introduce yourself, and yeah, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Are you hearing me okay? Is the sound good? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, check. Yeah, thanks for inviting me here. Indeed, I'm very. I just heard about Notion via Yao, and it's good to have a system like that because indeed I'm a coach, and that's why Yao invited me to this event, because there's more to maintaining your goals and keeping your goals than only the technology. But it is, of course, good to set your goals, because then you are also taking responsibility for your goals and how you want to work towards them, and that's good to do. So you can actually have the life and the goals you want to have in that year. But we are talking about that there is the other side, of course. For example, setting the goals. Are they realistic? What kind of goals do I want to achieve this year, and stuff like that. But also when you, for example, find yourself a bit stuck in a pattern with a goal, for example, then you find yourself in a certain area in life where it does not actually it's not successful, and then you're just wondering why it is not successful at the point. I'm trying. I try different things to reach this goal, but it doesn't work. Why is that? And that is the point where maybe a coach or the personal development and more dive into actually the reasons behind that pattern could be interesting. And I do that. I'm a coach in personal development and professional development. So I help people to thrive in the workplace and in your personal life. And actually, my specialism is more to look behind the reasons of your behavior and why you're doing what you're doing. And just maybe to give a personal example to make it more clear. A year ago, I was working in the Netherlands. I'm from the Netherlands, and I am a trainer. I delivered a lot of training for young professionals in soft skills. So that's what I did. I often found myself quite tired after a training day when I delivered a course. And so I had a goal to be less tired after a day of training, because then sometimes you don't have the energy to do something in the evening. And I thought, okay, that's not okay. I just want to be energized when I'm done with the day working. So that was a goal for me. But then I discovered, okay, why am I tired after a day of training? And that was often because I criticized myself a lot during the training. I was often focusing on what did not go well or what was wrong, and I often took a lot of responsibility when it went wrong in my eyes. What is wrong is also of course my own opinion of what went wrong, because the training was okay, but then I was like, no, that this could be better and that could be better. So I was very perfectionistic and very critical of myself. And then I dived in a little bit more, and I realized I have quite a bit of difficult relation with experiencing my success. So I find it quite hard to owe my success in a certain way. When it does not go well, then I am responsible. But when it was a great training, I tend to say, no, but it was a good group, or it was a good program, or okay, but there were reasons outside of myself. And that's actually not fair, because when it's successful and I did a good job, it's good to own it and to feel successful, and then it's less of an energy drain. So I discovered also during coaching myself that it's a bit on a unconscious level that I did that, or did develop that, because, for example, my father is a man who worked very hard for our family. I'm from a big family with 6 children, and he worked very hard to maintain us and to be successful for us. But he was not really rewarded in this life for that, not financially, but also by other people. So for me, it felt almost guilty to be successful, because it's a strange feeling when you are more successful as a child than, for example, your own parents. And that was on a unconscious level holding me back to own my own success and feel happy about it, and to be happy with it, actually. So that is actually the reason why it was an energy drain for me. And sometimes it's more on a conscious level, sometimes it's a bit subconscious or unconscious, and then coaching can help you to explore that a little bit, dive in a little bit. And once you see that, then it helps you to decide how you want to cope with that and how you want to develop new behavior on that point. So that's an example for me. I don't know if you can relate, or maybe have your own examples where you think, oh, that's sometimes an energy drain for me, but I don't really have a grip on why it is that way. And you would like to improve that, for example, in the new year. So those are things where coaching, or have a look at the reason behind that behavior can help you. So that was a short introduction from my part. I don't know if people have questions, or maybe we can discuss a little bit more. And
Great, thank you. I think there's some sort of valuable insights there. Particularly around what you're saying of, actually, I think just talking to yourself more positively. Because we're all I don't know what it is, something in childhood or something, or you probably sort of the expert in knowing why, but we can beat ourselves somewhere. And particularly sort of this year, we can, hopefully sort of look back at sort of positive things we've sort of influenced, and definitely we should time or take sort of time doing that. I was wondering whether you've had a particular rewarding coaching experience, either of you coaching someone that you can share, or the other way around, of you being coached.
I think the other way around was just the example I mentioned, that the coach helped me with that insight, and helped me a few days, the days after, I felt less energy drained in the training. So in that sense, it was successful, the coaching. And the other way around, I coached someone also in my former workplace, my former employer. A colleague of mine was not feeling at her right spot in the organization, but that was mostly because, as well, she was criticizing herself a lot, and that set her in a cramp. She was criticizing her faults, and then she felt more guilty, and then she was criticizing herself for being guilty. It was just a pattern, and we had a coaching session about that, and it really helped her to give the insight, why are you doing that? And also, sometimes it just helps that a person with a fresh view from outside helps you to structure your thoughts and actually realize, is it realistic what I do here? And because your own voices sound so convincing, right? You're in your own head, it's so convincing, but sometimes you need to hear, is it true what you are thinking or believing? And after that conversation, she really felt more air and relieved, and finding her spot in the organization. So that was great to be able to help with someone with that.
That's really great to hear. Thank you so much for sharing. So I think we're about sort of at the hour mark. Maybe let's sort of call it a day. I think we've had a lot going on in this session, and sort of great to sort of hear, particularly from Marlene and Frances as well, with the sort of New Year's resolutions and notions. again, sort of hoping everyone in the audience found something interesting or valuable. Thank you again, Danny, for helping to host, and your questions as well. Again, we're going to be sort of hosting this hopefully every quarter, continuing to do so. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Been a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.